Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are going to have a fun time. A little bonus live stream just for fun. I hope you're all doing well. There's the announcement. Cool. Kasaka-san, it's 4 in the morning. You are crazy. Wow, that's amazing. Let's see, I'm making a patch. I want to get aftertouch involved. And I want to have it do something kind of weird too, so we're going to do something kind of fun. Let's do like a fast LFO. I don't know if you know about this trick, but if an LFO isn't fast enough, because we have custom shapes, you can double it. So if I go over here and go like this, there, I've doubled the rate of the LFO, and I can still control the shape of it. I could actually quadruple it if I want. Let's do that, because I want something really kind of weird out there. And then I want aftertouch to control this by the intensity, so it's off. So I can say aftertouch. And I want that aftertouch to also be controlling this to mess up the stereo field. Yeah. So today, I'm in the middle of making this library. So it's kind of one of these things, and I apologize. I'm going to be sniffy. It's a sunny, warm day here in Idaho, and man, everything is blooming. And I think everything that's blooming, I think I'm allergic to. So I'm apologizing in advance. Can't always control. Now check this out. I want to show you something else kind of cool. I want to have a delay. Let's get a little extra color to the delay. And I think I've shown you guys, mentioned it before, but we can actually make these macro knobs respond to aftertouch, not just controllers. So, oh, hold on, someone's at my door. 1 second. I gotta see. I don't know who'll be at my door, but. Doing a live stream. What's up? Oh, you're doing some work.
No, I was soliciting. I'm trying to get rid of these. I didn't know if you wanted them. No,
I'd be interested in a weed eater.
Well, the blower is really the useful thing.
I have one.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll come talk to you after the show.
All right.
Okay. Come on in. Come on in, Dina. Thanks. It's real life, people. My neighbor is brought by a weed eater and a air blower he's listening to sell. I have nice neighbors here. They're very cool. So anyway, welcome everybody. I see a whole bunch of you here. That's so awesome. I apologize again. My allergies on this lovely spring day are celebrating in their very unique, special way. I'm hoping my peppermint tea will help, but let's do this. Let's get this to be a little bit more rare. I want some of these to be off all the time. So let's say one, just say eighth note possible for these first. And then delay, I want, one also thing, notice that I have, since I have 4 effects here, I can't see all 4, so there's a little triangle right here that moves the display. I want this eighth note to go to quarter note, division. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down. And let's see, I got to look for a macro knob that's not being used. And let's say aftertouch, delay, percentage, meaning the amount. And I can go over here. Oh, you know what? I think that those aren't... No, that won't work because the assignments, I could set this right here to assign to aftertouch, and then it would work, right? It should work, but it wouldn't be something I could save in the patch. These are assignments, so I can't do it quite the way I was thinking I was going to do it, so never mind. Let's say unassigned. Just have a little bit of delay. Now I have, oh my goodness. I'm hoping my allergies pills kick in too. I'm on my Zyrtex to try to help out, but they haven't kicked in yet. I have so many possible directions we can go today too. So, excuse me. Let's do this. This is a work in progress. Let's do a sharp umbrella round robin as a new layer at instrument 1. And let's have this also be controlled but with step sequencer. So it's going to be playing everything, right? So this is going to be going. And then we go after this and we say, give me a trigger box. Softer. And I want to be an octave higher, so we'll go over here, we'll transpose it up an octave. And then I want to take up less space, so I'm going to work on the decay shape. And I want this to be, I want to vary a little bit, right? So let's go over here to LFO2, custom shape. I'm going to make it be a multi-segment. Come back up here. Actually, this last step has to be like this. And bring the intensity, and then assign this to the decay. It's cool to have things like this that spit out, you know, do little things every now and then. And I want this delay to be nice and long. We're going to the moon, right? So it's got to be ambient. Now I want this to be shorter. And then I'm still have aftertouch to bring up these variables in the sound. Let's find some sort of a glue element. And this is where I have all the unified libraries. I just did a YouTube short. Actually, it's on TikTok and Instagram too. So I have a lot of the different unified libraries in here as well, so the list is nice and healthy. But if we go down here to the Super Mega Sampler, this is all bonus, really cool stuff. That was I put this from all these different libraries that we have into here for me to be able to play with in cases like this, where I want to go fiddle whispers. That's I think my bass thing might sound better an octave up. Reverb on. And I want this to be busier, so let's go over here to the trigger box setting. Let's start. Let's go over here to the blue arp. Let's have an octave up and down in a couple of steps. That helps splash a little bit more melody, interesting stuff. And then I can control the global amount of reverb just from the level of the reverb that's being sent to. And my nose. Woo! Did you see the mod wheel? I might want to reverse that. So let's go over here and look at the mod wheel. Let's just flip the settings. So when it's down, that's a start. I want to work on this more because I think I want to make it actually like not even play hardly at all until you use Aftertouch in the final version, but I might make two versions. Usually I did one for like people that don't have an Aftertouch keyboard that can do all the expressive things. Let's save this as it is. BPM pad. Starlight Sprinkles. It's not there yet, but that's the path I want to take it. BPM pad. And then I'll fill in this stuff later. Save. So let me give you a little, where am I at? I've now created, my eyes just are watery up, so I can't read very well. Great. I've sampled a whole bunch of different sounds, 3 different shakers. First was the smiley shaker. There it is in the mix. Let's say just load single and percussion shakers. So that's this shaker. And there's like 80 samples, I think. Start to see. The whole keyboard, there's over 61 samples. So what I want to do is we'll make some patterns for some of these shakers. I'll kind of show you how I like pick out the shakers pieces for what works. Number 2 is the red egg, which is a bigger There you go. And then number 3 is this really kind of loud and bold. It's a little conga. Just huge. So I need to make patterns for those. On top of that, I recorded 2 different tamborims. Tamborims are a Brazilian instrument that is used for the really very loud. They use that for the cadences and stuff inside of big ensembles. It cuts, right? Like all sorts of cutting through the mix. So, but what's cool with these, if I take this and I can transpose it down in pitch and use shift, I can get into all sorts of really cool, you know, drummy kind of weird alien drums. Tambourine 2 was this guy, and he used to have this head on it, which is a plexiglass plastic head. So it was more of like a high bongo that rang out. And this also transposes down really well. For all those kind of cool, kind of like alternate, outside the box kind of percussion things. But I've also bought, when I got it, I saw this head that they sold at this percussion store in Portland. Rhythm Traders. If you go to Portland, go to Rhythm Traders in Northeast Portland. It's a great shop. Lots of all sorts of drums. But it's a mesh head. I don't know if you can see, but you can see through it. And it's kind of like what we put on like a window screen, right? And it's for practicing, so it's not, it doesn't sound like this. You know, if you want to practice your patterns, it sounds like this. And I want to play it and record it. I haven't recorded it yet, but with a brush. I think that make really, really cool for interesting patterns. Because the moon is about like zero gravity and kind of that kind of cool, weird stuff, right? So I want to record that. I did record already this. This is a tambourine rack. I'd never seen a tambourine like this. And it's kind of strange to play. And it's so bright because there's 20 sets of, I mean, it's just like, it's really tricky to record it. But I have all sorts of really cool, like, these are loops. And then up here, I also have like a, where are they? So I can have like play early. So I have these that need patterns, right? Mark, that's so funny. Talked about MIDI files in the last stream. Yeah, so the idea is that if you've ever followed some of these other libraries that I make, a good one would be like CloudForm, which has the drum. So CloudForm is a really cool, like, by the way, at my website, I'm having a 2-day sale. I could use a little extra money to help pay bills. So I just decided, boom, 50% off on all the libraries at the website, including CloudForm. This is a library that has really cool motion synth kind of things to it. It's got a very... And I made this last year just at the time that I got my grand piano. I was able for the first time to buy a acoustic grand piano. And so the first thing I did with the piano was I played it with drumsticks and hit it and right? So once I have a sample map like this, then you go up here to the BPM drum, and here's all these different grooves that I've made using that. So I have to make MIDI files for the instruments like this. And then what I do is I do multiple patterns so that I can actually cycle through all these different patterns up here. There's 30 different patterns. Some of these that say part 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 will be the one that has everything going. Oh, wait, maybe not in this case. It's not. 4 is the one that has the most going on. I'm Gemini, so I never do the same thing twice. So it makes it really tricky when I make libraries because I'm always doing different things. So 1 would be the smallest, right? And then what I did is I just went through and I saved these out as kits. So I need to do a similar thing for Luna Rhythmica, where I go through and take each of these instruments. I did this also for Cloud City. This is another one of my favorite libraries, which is on sale. This has the most percussion instruments in a single library. Actually, Groove Summit, I think I beat the number. But I recorded all of these different percussion instruments, rain sticks, maracas, buffalo drums. This has probably the most complete set. And so there's all of these kits of singles. Of, it says Ingle, single. Then each one of these, there's patterns for them, right? I mean, this library could have been 700 if I made every pattern for every one of these. So uh-oh. Oliver, you got to take out the trash, man. You got to make sure you got everybody in the family happy. So I need to do a similar thing. And I thought, you know, some of you, it's kind of a new concept. For some of you, it's something you haven't seen before at all. So we'll definitely do that so you can see the process. How to make, let's say, just 6 patterns, because I'm not going to sit here and make 30 patterns with you guys. You guys will have like glass stares at me by the time we're done with that. So, but on top of that, I wanted to do some sampling. I had some other things I wanted to sample. And then there's another whole other process to this. There's a drum kit of AI sounds that I've been making. These are all made by AI, believe it or not. None of these are samples I've done. But I want to process them more. They're not done yet. Some of these need additional transients. That cool? So some of these will be used for So I wanted like weird sounds nobody's heard before. So it's like, make me the biggest bass drum on the moon with low frequencies that you can't get on Earth. So this is what I tried to make with some of these sounds. But I want to doctor these too. So there's a handful of different things I want to do in this live stream I thought with you guys. So let's do this. So let's do the pattern stuff first, since we were talking about that and showing what we've got. So I'm going to go to Logic, and I'm going to, let's go over here and mute this so I don't hear it here. And I'm going to have that go off screen for a second like that. What AI are you using to prompt the sounds? That's using 11labs.io. It is a quote, ethical AI of the way that they advertise what they do. And they recommend not, or they say don't use samples, just start. So I need to layer things and add and make them new sounds. But right now it's just the samples as I have captured them. Also, on top of that, another thing we got to look at is Fred just sent me something. We were talking and he's like, I'll make some sounds for you for your library. With he's got a crazy unique an approach that he has for making AI. And so he made, check this out. See if you hear these. Sound effects.
Houston, we have a clean separation.
Oh, this must be cute. This is a combination of everything.
Looking back at the Earth, it's so fragile from up here.
It's got astronauts talking, textures, so we'll make a combi.
Translunar injection. Houston, we have a clean separation. Orbit is stable. Looking back at the Earth, it's so fragile from up here. All systems nominal for translunar injection. The G
so we have these samples we'll be putting into a map.
So I can see the craters. The D.
There's the texture.
Lower radiation, Charlton fiber.
Wow. So we have this to play with too. There's a lot. This library is going to be so cool when it's all done, man. I can't wait. So we need to loop that and get things worked. So there's a whole different places to look at stuff. But let's start with the grooves. So let's turn on Unify 2 in Logic. And here you are. Hello, dude. And let's shrink that. Get that over here so you can see what's going on. I'll try to get this so that we share a screen and make it so you're able to see what's going on. So we're going to go to Lunar Rhythmica. And let's choose one of these. Actually, let's do the tambourine. That'd be fun. Maybe the fingers. Let's do some of these. So what we're going to do, this plugin will stay in front of the interface to Logic. So I'm going to make this key 1. So it calls this up. And then I'm going to go to 2 and make a different screen. One nice thing with Logic is it has what are called screen sets. And so I can make it set when I push 1, it will give me, oh wait, get back to Logic. 1 will be this look and 2 can be a completely different set of windows, which makes working super, super powerfully cool, especially in a case like this, like a live stream where I'm going to want to like call up the interface. I can just go like this. And actually, I'm going to lock this. So let's go over here and say lock and go to 2 and lock that. So that means that it's locked and I can't, if I change it and stuff, normally if I'm on 2 and if I move it around, normally if I'm on 2 and I like go like this, now 2 is that. But because I've locked it, when I push 2, it will go back to this. So let's go tempo of like maybe 8, maybe 90. And I'm just going to play some patterns. And I don't know these samples that well. So I'm going to be, let's see, metronome settings. I'm going to be a little bit louder. Now I'm going to find some like pattern stuff. So. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Okay, so I have a whole bunch of different ideas here. I'm going to quantize it really quickly to 16th notes, and we'll divide these into different patterns. So okay, so go to 7, Command T to split it. Okay, to 9 and split it. Okay, so 13. And I could go to 11 and make this be like an A and a B pattern. So I do that a lot. So there's a 4 major pattern. What this means is, we'll talk about it in a minute. So there's just like a bass drum note, like an 808 thing. Then 21. And then I was searching around for a while, right? So here, these are majors of me just searching around. And then right here, I got back to a pattern. So it's at 20, at 30, Command T. Okay, so we got those patterns, right? So let's go over here and let's do this. So you need to take and make a MIDI track down here and make these all like this. Actually, you know what I can do is duplicate the same. And then what I do is let's see. Well, let's do it this way. Let me take and go over here and copy Unify 2 over here to this instrument so it has the same settings so I can play these patterns. And then I'm going to duplicate, actually, Command D will duplicate the track, because the goal is I need to have these all on separate tracks, but all playing at the same time. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to set these up so that they can all be in one MIDI file so I can cycle and change between them. And these that are only 2 measures, I can go like this to make them 4, and Command J to join each of these. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 patterns. And I'm going to change the order. Like that's the most sparse. This is one of the busier ones. This is also kind of sparse. So let's go like that. And then if I hit solo, on my microphone too, so I can hear at the same time. Oh, let's go like that. So the main thing I need to do for my last check is go to the piano player roll and look at the very end of each one of these to make sure none of the notes are bleeding over onto the next downbeat right here. Because if they do, then I'm going to end up having a problem. So I just go down the list with these and look at the end. That looks good. Let's do this. Let's change this view to be a little bit wider. So there. It helps to know your DAW. I know Logic. I've used Logic since it was on the Atari computer 35 years ago. So I know it as well as I know in anything. So yeah, so I have these patterns now, right? Now what I'm going to do, let's name them just for fun. But we don't, you know, for this, I'm not going to get super crazy, but let's say Tambourine, POURM 2, groove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So, and 2 of these were the same, but this 3, so I want 3A and then 3B. So we'll rename this one 3B 3B, and then these we can rename to 4. And Logic has a really cool naming system. If you put a number at the end, anything else selected gets added to a +1 of the numbering system. So I have these grooves now, so that if let's see, if I turn off all the solo modes, they will all play at once. But because they're all selected like this, if I select all of these and I go Command Option E, oh, see, I still have some downbeats on one I didn't check. So the other check is to open up this event editor list like this, and then to go through each one of these, and it will tell me if any of these have timing events before 1, because somebody does. Huh? It's saying that there's that's not quite right. Why is it saying? Oh, well, those are all muted and not selected. I guess that's what it is. But yeah, these all look okay. Well, if it pops up that message again, I'm just saying move them to 1. Change. Yes, change upbeat events. And then let's go to Unify, Libraries, Luna Rhythmica. And I don't have a MIDI file folder, so we're going to go MIDI files. And I guess I could say a folder for this. So the Tamborim 2 grooves. I just go Tamborim 2 finger. Create. Now, actually, before I save these, I'm going to do something else too, because I want them to be in this order. So if I put numbers at the beginning, actually go 0, 1. 0, 1, and these I have to do manually one at a time. Really exciting. I'll go fast as I can. 0, 3. This way I know the order that I want them to be in, so that way they'll stay in that order when I load them up. 0, 5. 0, 6. Oh, wait, I need a space there. Sorry. And 0, 7. So now that I have these grooves, I can now export and change all upbeat events. And let's see, will it go back to the, no, it won't. So let's go Unify, Libraries, Luna Rhythmica, MIDI files, Tamborim fingers. And then this is the stack. So we say Tamborim, B-O-B-O. 2 finger, F-I-N-G-E-R, stack. And this was 7, I think, grooves, right? So say 7. I'll just say stack. And then I also want to save each one of these out. So I'm going to just copy it and, oh, what's going on here? So go like, close this. Maybe I'll do this after the event. It's not letting me export it as a MIDI file. Okay, so we'll save this as, Luna, let's see, we're on our desktop, Rhythmica grooves. Okay, so that way I have these backed up so I can call them back up, because I might give them actual names. Usually I like to name the grooves and all that kind of stuff. But the important thing to show, I don't know why it wouldn't let me export these. That's so odd. Let's see. File, export. It's all the way over here. 1. Huh. It's doing this crazy thing. So copy. It's interesting. Well, let me see if I delete all these, if that changes anything. for some reason it was thinking that it's longer than it really is, but it's not. So copy, yeah, it's still not doing it. Okay, well, so just to show you what this means is I can hide, let's go back to Logic for a second. I want to get to a track that doesn't make any sound so that I just have an empty track so it doesn't make anything. Go back to Unify 2 over here. And now when we go to tambourine percussion, tambourine 2 fingers, and then we go over here and we go to the MIDI effect and we add MIDI box. That's our MIDI file player. We can go to this library, Luna Rhythmica, and click this, and there it is. And so when I choose this stack, and I just wanted to have set to play only, so it's there. So I have all these different grooves now. They're in a list. It's at 120 beats per minute. It's not at 90 beats per minute because I haven't set that. So if we slow this down, and now the goal with this library is not really to make them sound like a tambourine, more like this kind of vibe. This. Put some noise box on it. And then on top of this, have cool synthy stuff going on. So we could, let's do this. Let's have some fun for a minute. So let's make a new Unify layer. We could do it from one of the patches. So let's say Livewire round robin. Load this one instrument in as a Unify layer, right? And I'm gonna put a step sequencer on the top of this. And because there's 4 different round robins of samples and it's playing different timbres and stuff. Right? Now this is talking to this Unify layer, and this is important because this is where it gets really fun. I'm going to set this to MIDI channel 1, and then I'm going to have like maybe Annie pluck A as, and here we'll use this so I don't have to keep right clicking, and I just click here and say A and D, and I also want to have sharp umbrella, so I have 4 different sounds. And I'm going to expand this so that it's all 4 on different MIDI channels. 1, 2, 3. So see how it's only talking to this one layer here, right? Well, you open up Step Sequencer, and we now have the ability to like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now look at this. It's playing all 4 layers at different times. That's what I want. I only want this. So you can vary the samples and stuff to choose different things. It's going to be so fun. And just for fun, let's say moon drums on its own layer and give it a step sequencer. Let's solo it for a second. So we just and we go step sequencer, and then I'm going to turn this off so it doesn't use MIDI in. And then I'm going to use transpose. Let's see, that doesn't work. This is where I have to figure out this. There we go. Now I'm going to set it to like 16th notes. But I want to turn all these off for the start. And then I can and this becomes a pattern now. And now no matter where I play on the keyboard, it's now a pattern because it's not using MIDI in it. If I was using MIDI in, then it plays and transposes that pattern each time I play it. Each time I play a new note, the starting note changes and stuff. But by turning MIDI in off, this is a feature I begged Paul for, because this way, this note is what determines what triggers the sound, and then the transpose lets me change it. So now, that can mix as a pattern. It's gonna be really fun. Especially when different samples have their own ambiances and stuff in it. Pretty cool, right? So that's kind of where we're going. We're heading towards the moon. We're not there yet, but so that's using the patterns, because MIDI box is set to play only also. If I had this to transpose or play in transpose, then it transposes up and down the keyboard. But because I have it set to play only, it's just playing the MIDI file as I programmed it, right? And you can use the distortion, and instead of it being like this, just use like 1 or 2%. I can control the high pass filter to control. I can have it just bring up and just tickle the high end of the attacks. Cool. That's cool. They're playing against each other really nicely. And maybe this first sound, Livewire, it was fun when I recorded. I was like, this is going to be kind of interesting to use, but it might not be the... So, of course, I had to use monitor speakers instead of... These inner monitors are really good. This might be a case where I want to have a little dynamic on this with a pump house. So we go over here, let's say sidechain. little bit of motion. Right, so you get the idea of where we're going. So let me save this work in progress. This will be a split when it's done. BPM split. I don't know what to call it yet. You're welcome. Glad you're all here, man. Yeah, wow. 37 of you hanging out. That's awesome. Okay, so let's call this, what should we call this? Any ideas from you guys? Crater Gator, I love it. Crater Gator, sure. Crater Gator. Like here, just as a test, let's do this. Let's take the bass and have it stop at B. And let's just call up one of these other BPM synth parts, like here, and load this as a new Unify. And that's sort of. Yeah, so it will all work together to give us this really cool vibe, you know? But you see where it all started with the MIDI file for this, right? Once I had the, if I take noise box off and I take it up in pitch, that's what we started with. And if I still use that in this groove, be like, ah, interesting, okay, you know? But with tuning and the effects and stuff, the sounds are just part of the equation. You know? That's got serious vibe. And then if I wanted to even more get carried away, I've got the high pass filter. Oh, are you not connected? Let me see here. If we open this up, not this, but the effect. I want to play with that. Res. It's not connected to it. So let's do this. Let's open up the plugin. I'm going to get this over to the side so I can see it. And I need to hit the ear. Let's see. Let's do this. Right click, because this is supposed to be the high pass filter cutoff, but for some reason it's not connected. So we can hit the ear, wiggle. Now it is. So I can hit run. I want to have sync on. There we go. Just so it's playing with those frequencies and moving them a little bit might be kind of fun. There. This one playing around that area there. So it's so cool to have the built-in modulation engines on every knob, so you can. And I'll have to figure out why this wasn't connected to the effects. It must be the wrong order. Effect 1, slot 1. Yeah, and it's not in slot 1 anymore. It's a noise box here. I added a noise box at the end. That's what I did. So what I should do, I'll worry about that later. I'm not going to try to fix that in the live stream. But yeah, we have all sorts of fun things to play with here. So, all right. Yeah, Crater Gator. Yeah. All right, so that's cool. Let's try to make another set of grooves because we need the shaker, some patterns for the shaker. So let's do this. Let's mute this. We want to add a shaker to this, right? So let's get some shaker patterns really quick from Logic. So we'll get this out of the way and go back to Logic. And I'm going to save these. So I'm going to move these all the way over here. Sometimes I pack them in a folder, which I would just go like this and then say pack a folder and call this tambourine grooves, T-A-M-B-O-U-R-I-M, tambourine, 2-finger, ing, and then mute it so they don't play and put that at the end of the list. So those MIDI files are all tucked inside of here. If you don't know, Logic has a folder system that's really useful. I use it all the time. So let's go back here. And let's change. Now that we've done that and it's embedded in here and these are all set to tracks and all that kind of stuff, I can delete these from here. So go delete, delete, and then go to here, delete, and here let's call up Unify 2 and we'll do shaker, right? So, hello. Go Luna Rhythmica. And which shaker do I want to use? I think let's go shaker. Because we're going for this. We're going for what it sounds like when it's tuned down an octave, right? Shakers at their normal pitch are so boring. Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome. So we're doing a live stream today. I have a library in Works. It's Luna Rhythmica. It's inspired by our trip to the moon. So it's kind of like spacey, mostly rhythmic, although I have to make the original patches and samples first that you then program up to have rhythm on them. So I'm in the process of making patterns for different things. We just made a set of patterns for the tambourine. Just a quick summary for those of you that have just been joining. And now I'm going to use a shaker. And what I do, we can't do this inside of Unify 2. Maybe with Unify 3 we will, but we're not able to do it. But I can't make MIDI files inside of Unify. So you call up your DAW of choice. I happen to have been someone that's used Logic since it was version 1 on the Atari. So it's where I'm comfortable working. You can work with whatever DAW is your cozy place, you know, type of a thing. So I'm going to make some patterns for the shaker. I think we're here and hit 2, so it goes right. And I'm trying to decide if I want to tune it down. And I have, what's really cool is the smiley shaker, there's ways to like, you can hit it and it rings out. And I got it to do these really cool. So cool. So typically when you're doing a shaker pattern, it's about the, you want a long, I might have to go back to the shaker and go over to the original samples. Most of the samples that had that kind of motion, I took the second half out, but you kind of need those to be really natural. So we need to make some patterns. So I'm just going to jam, and I actually want to be a little bit slower than that so I can get a little bit more nuanced. So like 82. Those three work really nice. So I'm going to restart. It's nice. Oh, those are nice. So I'm just playing around, and I'll go through this. I like that for... Okay, so let's play with this for a second. Okay, that one works. So go to 3. That can be one pattern. Okay, that works. So between 5 and 7 works. And 7 to 8 works if I double it. I was experimenting in this part, right? Let's see, 15. That kind of works. 15 to 17. So this is... So you just go through after you've played for a while, and you just kind of find things that seem interesting. Let's see, in there. Okay, let me show you something with this. It's like 19 to 21. If you notice, if I call this up on the piano player roll, and let's cycle this part so we can just study this for a second, and I'll show you how you can sometimes fix things where it started wrong and then it kind of got better, right? So it started, so this sample is not working for here. So these samples are not. And so then I found another note, and that worked. So if I just change these to that, now it works. The other thing you can do is you can like find the second sample, this little short. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll go around it and I'll find different notes that work. Even for the downbeat, we could find different notes. That's got like a... Like, so that means the second one. So you like do repeating patterns. So that means this one and this one should also be transposed up to that. That sounds more believable. And then maybe this last. This is why I like to make maps with tons of samples. Just giving you 2 notes or 1 note for a shaker is kind of an insult because a shaker can make so many different freaking patterns and sounds and stuff. And so when I make these maps, there's the entire keyboard from this note C all the way up to the top note are all samples so that you can do this kind of stuff. So you at first that's too short. That's nice. So we go 20. Right? So you just find things to make it sound human. Our ears are so used to hearing repetitive pattern, and for techno that's great. For shakers it's not. So you can do things like this sometimes too. Now see some like this, the first half was good. So let's go over and play with this for a second. So what we're going to do is, first of all, play this. And there's 1 note in there that's bad. Yeah, this note right here is one of the long, ringy ones. Okay, and then double this. And then Command J to join those. And let's take a look at this. Let's make these guys be a little bit different. So it's the second time through. Just a little different, right? So there's ways to make patterns. That's really nice. So I'm going to duplicate this a whole bunch of times. Go over here, Command D, 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 D. So we have these patterns so far that we can add. So we would say like this, and this, and this. Now this was only 1 measure, right? So let's play this. And see if that's worth. Join them. Let's get rid of these double notes. And anytime I have the same note played, that's a no-no. When you have 60 or 80 samples, I mean, some of these maps have like over 100 samples. Let's do this. Have this be different 16th notes. Let's also have a 16th note here, so just make it short. Now, since I've done that, these guys also have to do that. So I'm going to take these 2 and these 2, hold down Option and drag. And these can be a little bit lower in velocity, more in velocity for some accenting like dynamics. Okay, salvage that. And this we kept, right? Okay. Cool. Okay, so we got these 2 as well. So you see we're making patterns. You just play, jam, and then go back and audition it and edit things if you want to make it so that it plays the way you want it to with the different samples. This is the case with most of my libraries because a lot of the instruments, the percussion instruments, there's lots of samples. I'm not a you can do the round robin where it's playing 8 different samples. I'd rather have those 8 different samples that I can choose when I want it to play, which one of those ones I want it to play. So I'm not a big fan of round robin per se, unless you're really careful and you're just trying to do it for like a cadence or something that's like repeating, you know? That's very useful. Maybe I don't need these. It's had to be softer. That's very cool. So let's go to 9, split that so that this, oh wait, all right, 9, Command T. And that should be at this top because it's the most sparse of them all. Let's bring this down here. I'm looking at the order of the notes that are being played to get them kind of in a little bit of, I had some other ones here that were kind of not quite as sparse, but that's very useful. So let's say that's 19, 11. 11, Command T is split, and 13, Command T is split. So there's a nice pattern. That can actually be an early one because it's more sparse than most of these. You can look at it just to see how many notes are, you know, showing up in the constellation to what's going on. Let's see, go here. Okay, that's a good one. So to 17. Then I did some more surfing around, right? Oh, I like that. 17, nice. That's 19, Command T. Yeah, that's cool. 21, 21 T. That's similar to what we've got already. Then I was surfing around again. I went down the keyboard. That's a very traditional pattern. So 26, Command T. Great, 28. Some of these you don't want them to change. You just want it to sit there and be. Okay, that's just a repeat of what I did before. So this, and I got this one already. So there. So we got 3 more patterns. We don't need that. So let's get these all slotted. I need to like duplicate this a couple more times. So I have tracks. Have them all be the same track in your DAW on the same MIDI channel, because the thing is they're all on the same MIDI channel 1 so that they're stacked up. Now at this point I would, you know, I need to, let's see, if I select all these, I'm gonna just do them quickly and say change all upbeats. And let's say this is the Shaker 1 Smiley stack. And I don't want it in the tambourine, so I'm going to make a new folder in my MIDI files folder. This is Shaker 1 Smiley Grooves, and save. So by doing that and saving this MIDI file, and then I'm going to save this song file so that I can get back to this, give me a new MIDI track that doesn't have sound. Now when I go to Unify, and I can go to this patch that we made, Crater Gator, right? It needs something in the high frequency register for rhythm. Don't you kind of hear where it's kind of like lacking something, right? That's where the shaker is going to come in really nice. So let's go over here. We'll go Shaker 1, smiley face, right click, add instrument. I just want to add the instrument by itself. I don't need it in the Unify layer to start with unless I want to get more tricky. But go over here, go to the MIDI effects and just add MIDI box. And when we say Luna Rhythmica, and we click here, we open this up so we can see the shakers. There's that one that we did, that was the really sparse one, right? That's the first one. Here's all the grooves. Now let's play the tuning and effects, because that's what this library is: half sound design, half groove. Now I might have to fix some of these samples. You can see that some have a lot of gaps in the beginning, so that do what I want it to do. So let's go over here. LFO, triangle. Let's set it to sync of notes. Set this to be LFO. Let's try a different, let's do like band pass. Let's feed this into delay. It's got a little bit too much resonance still for what I want. Cool. More feedback so the delays play a little longer. Cool. Okay, so we've added percussion. Now, some other stuff we want to do. We want to add the space sounds that Fred sent, right? So let's put these into a map so we can play with them. The way we do that is we're going to open up the library, right-click, reveal in the Finder to show the library. Because there's no, the samples, they need to have something that shows up inside a Groove sampler for me to call up, right? If I go here to the list, I just got these from Fred. He just emailed them from France to me this morning, right? So they aren't here yet. So we need to go over here. Let's see, get back to the Crater. And oh, it says modified because I added a layer. It does that sometimes. So I can get rid of that. And update. Cool. So now that we're at the patches, we're going to navigate first up a folder so we can see the separate folders in this library, but these samples need to be put into the samples folder for me to use them. So I'm going to go into the samples folder, Luna Rhythmica. Here's the samples folder, and I'm just going to put this right here. Subsonic Arts, Luna Rhythmica. So that's, I'll leave that name, that's fine. Then you go over here to Bjorn's beautiful sample mapper. And this is the tool that will get them into Unify. So by taking all the, let's do this. Let's just do them all except for the combi. And let's see, he's got this breathing. We should put that along with the texture. So let's say, oh, and then let's call this 01. And that way they show up, and this, put a Z at the beginning of this list because I don't want it in the list. So I can say from here to here, and I drag these over Bjorn's sample mapper, and this lovely window pops up. And I'm going to say I just want them to load them starting at C, and I only want one step for each sample. I don't want them to be 4 notes, but 1. And by doing that, boom, it's made a sample map. And so I'm going to control the key range for the bottom and for the top by just clicking and dragging. So that it's just these samples. And then I just go save as, and it will remember the name of the folder. So let's say special effects, because I want to give them a category for what this is. This is for the map that's going to show up inside of Guru sampler. So we'll say Moon, Voyager, Vox, and effects. Actually, it's effects first, right? So we should say effects and Vox. Save. I could say phrase or something like that, but I didn't. We'll just call it special effects. So now I could say, give me a new empty layer. Let's solo this, and let's go over here to Guru Sampler 2. And we go to Luna Rhythmica. Where are you at? There you are. And we go to special effects. And
The shadow of the moon is massive. I'm looking at the Earth rising over the horizon. Houston, looking back at the Earth.
it's not playing the 0 sample.
Houston, looking back. All systems looking back. Houston, the G. We are cavity checking. I'm looking at the surface. Mission accomplished. Orion.
Why isn't it playing the first? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's just silent for a little while, maybe. So I have to look at the samples. I haven't done that yet, but one thing we will definitely have to do. And well, let's do that right now. So let's save this so that it will call this up. And then I'm going to go look at the samples real quick because Bjorn's sample mapper, the SFC files, it doesn't actually have sample start saved into the files. It has sample end. And if the samples are shorter than what they currently are, you won't have any problems. So let's open the samples and go here to Luna Rhythmica, and let's just take all of these and open them. And my sample editor of choice is a program called Twisted Wave. It's I think $100 a year license or something like that. And with this,
Copy that, Houston. Copy that.
and I'm going to use, I have a little script up here that I can drag over here that will zoom in so I can see the beginning of the samples to make sure that I don't have DC offsets or anything. So the 0 one, yeah, see, it's silent for a while. And then it fades in. I want it to be immediately on. And then if I want to fade in, I'll put that in with Guru Sampler 2. So let's go like this. I want it after that chirp. So let's go like this and have this be a little DC offset fade in.
Lower invitation, turn open 5. Lower invitation. Lower invitation.
I think I'd rather have it starting around there.
Lower invitation, turn open 5.
Yeah, okay, so let's do that. Z, fade in.
Lower.
Save. And then I'm going to just look at each one of these, make sure that it's got there's a couple I heard a click. So I just want to make sure, yeah, see here where the beginning of the sample isn't on the 0 axis, so you're going to have a little DC offset click. So we'll fix that. And that's just a little off, so we'll fix that. That's good, that's good. That's a little bit. Save.
Orion.
That's fine. Save.
Alice confirmed.
Yeah, we can get rid of any of the gaps so that it plays on time. Save. That's close enough, close enough, close enough. Little click. Anytime you see anything off the 0 axis, there's a chance Unify's sample engine plays very accurately to the waveforms. So you want to make sure you protect all.
The shadow of the moon.
There. Good. I could batch process it, but then you do it to everything, and it doesn't take that long to edit these. Some of these I'll fix a little better, but I don't want to bore you guys in live stream too much with this, so do as quick as we can. There. Okay, so I fixed those. What I need to do, since I have edited the samples, I'm going to do one more thing. I want this texture and probably the breathing to be looped. So I'm going to go to another of Bjorn's programs called Endless Wave. And this is what the sample looks like in there. And as you can see, I can set up, and it's really cool. You hold down Shift and you click and drag, and you're moving the sample start and sample end. It will do it automatically. Now you can tell it's got a big difference in volume, so I need to find. And then I use Command Shift S, and it will do an analysis. And it will try to find a place where maybe it can cross where you don't hear it. How's that? I don't even have to use a crossfade because it found a place. Now it's a little different. So if I wanted to, I would use one of these last two crossfade options. This is the one I use the most of the time. And then I make it longer. That's better. Just put a little crossfade so it has, what happens is you can see it shows this little bit right here. It's actually merging in this data right here when in playback, so that so it makes it like if I have this play now, if you close your eyes, you won't be able to tell where it loops. Right? So Command Shift N for the next sample, and you say save before closing. And what this will do is it will delete all the data at the sample end, and it will automatically embed into the sample this crossfade data, and it will put these loop points into the files so Logic or Unify can read them. So you say yes, and here's the breathing. I kind of like, right, maybe these two right here for the loop. Because then I can have a little bit more space, because I want it to be, it was a little fast between this one to that one. That sounds pretty natural right there. So Command Shift N. Next. Okay. So I've looped two samples. So that means I need to go back here to the SFC file for the Moon, Voyager, and Vox. And what I do is, let's go to Bjorn Sample Mapper right here. And I just drag this file over here because I haven't made it, when I do round robins and stuff, that's something you do in a text editor. That makes it more complex so it doesn't show up right. But when I drag this over here, it will load it back up. And all I have to do is just go down here to the load button, and it pops up this window. And I say all groups, which you don't have to because it's just one group, but I do just to be safe. But sample end, loop start, loop end, it's going to reread that and put it into the samples. And now I hit S for save. And so now when I go back into Unify and I call back up this patch and I play it.
I'm looking at the Earth rising over the horizon. It's a blue marble.
When I play this low sample, it now plays right there when it's supposed to. If I hold this down, you won't be able to tell where it is, right? So I'll have to make a MIDI file where I have it do that, but we now have
ignition sequence start. All engines are at full thrust. Radiation levels are within limits. We're safe for now.
The breathing. It's almost in time. How funny.
I'm looking at the Earth rising over the horizon. It's a blue marble.
So, very, very fun. And then I'll sequence, again, I'll make a MIDI file that does stuff like that. I'm going to do some things like some of Bob's libraries where you just play one note and each thing does different MIDI files that are doing cool things.
The surface.
All right. So, what else do you guys want to see? What else? I'm really happy with how we did that.
Fly burn is complete.
MIDI files.
We've broken the shackles.
Some of the breath would work. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And there's actually, I was gonna there's a couple options here. We could use either chow tape or swanky amp.
Fly burn is complete. We've broken the shackles of Earth's gravity. The stars don't flicker out here.
Give it a more, you know, distorted.
The stars don't flicker out here. They're just constant.
And maybe we'll filter it so a little bright.
The stars don't flicker out here. They're just constant.
The delay.
Fly burn is complete. We've broken the shackles of Earth's gravity.
You know, so of course there's more processing.
I can see the craters. The detail is incredible.
Yes, so these are samples that Fred made with AI.
We are halfway to the moon. Distance is 300,000 kilometers. Checking the solar panels. We are soaking up the radiation.
I'll have to process them a little bit to get me a little bit more in the mix.
Looking at the Earth, the ignition sequence start. All engines are at full thrust.
It's gonna be fun to mix this. I'm getting myself a whole bunch of different interesting sounds.
Radiation levels are within limits. We're safe for now.
Now the environment sounds totally messed up. So in a case like this, maybe you'd want to take swanky amp and, well, you know, I'm trying to decide if I want to do this type of thing and burn it into the samples, because it's kind of fun to have them pure too, so that it's just.
Checking the solar panels. We are soaking up the radiation.
They need to have a little something.
Copy that, Houston. Initiating the burn now.
Yeah. If we go over here, we could say omega delay. Let's say quarter note on one and then quarter note duplet. I love duplets.
Copy that, Houston. Initiating the burn now. The shadow of the moon is massive, preparing for loss of signal.
You know, so of course, there's all sorts of.
The shadow of the moon is massive, preparing for loss of signal. The shadow of the moon is massive, preparing for loss of signal. Preparing for EVA. Opening the hatch.
Add a little dirt to it.
Preparing for EVA. Opening the hatch. The stars don't flicker out here. They're just constant. Burn is complete. We've broken the shackles of Earth's gravity.
Let's see over here.
Checking the solar panels. We are soaking up the radiation. Cabin pressure is holding steady. We are go for the journey.
So there's also ways to process, of course.
Max Q, we are through the area of maximum aerodynamic pressure.
Let's bring it down a little bit.
The shadow of the moon is massive, preparing for loss of signal.
Right, so all sorts of fun places to play with that. So that's very fun. Let's see here. So at 2:36, we started at 1, so that's 90 minutes. So I have to stop. I'm gonna keep working for another 5 hours at least. So maybe one of these days I'll do like a full day live stream where I just put it on when I start working. And
we are soaking up the radiation.
here, let's do this. I'm gonna sample this really quick. I want to see how this sounds, so you guys can come along with me on that if you want to hang around. I mean, the crazy thing is YouTube doesn't care how long the live stream is. They're like, sure, you want to do it for 2 hours? Go ahead. So let's get this to be like this, and let me get Logic. We can actually use the same Logic file I was using for all of the percussion stuff. Let's do this. We'll sample that, and we'll see if we can get. I don't know. I'm opening a can of worms. So let's see. Let's pack this folder, and that's the shakers right here. Shaker 1 Smiley grooves. Let's mute that. And then I need to go up here to an audio track and record, enable it. And let's see, we will be in stereo and inputs 3 and 4. Oops, I said 5 and 6. Inputs 3, 4. So that's these guys. I think, I don't know. Let me make sure here. So if we go over here, yep, that's them. Okay, so let's just do some test recordings. I don't even know if I have my, trying to get my level set. I'm gonna play it with this. Okay, so, hello. So let's record. Let's see, I got these guys all muted, right? So they're not gonna take off and do anything. Turn off the metronome and let's see, I just wanna make sure I'm recording here. Yep, okay. So this is the tambourine with the mesh head. Oops. And then, of course, I could use fingers too, right? I mean, there's a billion things you can do with this. So that's just a quick test. Let's see how this turns out. So stop. Let's see here. I don't think there's any reason to have my side camera on so that you can see this better. So here we are. So turn off record and play. I'm probably going to put a high pass filter on this just by default because, you know, the wind of the moving of that, I don't want that to be part of the sound. So I had one section here where I did these like this, right? So these individual hits to start can be talking about right here. Yeah, it's the muted that I think is really, really cool. So Command or Control X to bring up strip silence. And I have a 49-inch monitor here, which is like the best purchase I've done for my studio in a very long time. If you are working all the time on your computer, get yourself a white-ass monitor, man. It's the best. I mean, here, let's see. Check this out. If I go just to the Osmos, check this out. Are you ready? It's a 49-inch, slightly curved monitor. And it just makes life so incredible. I have you guys in the chat. Here's the chat. It's over here. Then here's the workspace, and I have all this space over here I'm not even really using, that isn't even in the picture. So if you are seriously trying to get a lot of work done, I highly recommend a super wide monitor. I also have a 32-inch curved, and the 32-inch has more curve. I like this 49-inch because this is by Innocn, INNOCN. If you look on Amazon, it's a killer monitor for the money. And then I bought an extension that attaches to the desk. And here, if we go back here, check this out. I'll show you my whole setup here. I have two monitors. I have a second monitor up above, and it's on its own attachment. See behind? So I can move this. It's rotatable. It's not on the ground. It's actually floating, so that I can set it how I want. If I want to move it over, I can actually shift the whole thing. It's great. So you get yourself one of these arm things here. Let's I freak out my Osmos. But back here, see there, I have a 2-arm, and then my camera's on a tripod. Love my Sony for the camera. That's the webcam. That's why it looks so good, is because it's a $6,000 digital SLR with a really nice lens on it. That always helps. But for getting work done, man, I'll tell you, having a widescreen instead of this, you know, when I'm doing my work, it's like this. And so it's so much easier to see everything. So let's see, I want to just have the end of the samples be extended a bit. That should be good. Okay, so then it strips them down, and I can clean up some of these. I mean, this is just test. I don't even know if I will keep. Sometimes I keep this, sometimes I don't. But let's go back through some of these other things that I played. I don't know the model, but on Amazon it's like $900. It's under $1,000. If you wait for like Black Friday and stuff, it was like $7.99 when I bought it. I think I took a chance with it. I was like, I'd read a whole bunch of reviews of that, and man, I tell you, it's 3 monitors in one with nothing in between. I've worked with 2 monitors most of my career, and you have a bar right down the middle of the screen between the 2 monitors. That's gone. And I was wondering if I'm a photographer. I was wondering if like the slight curve would affect anything with Photoshop and photo editing and stuff, and it doesn't. It would be a little bit more with the smaller 32-inch curves. Just look at the amount of curve it has. If it looks like a horseshoe, don't get it. But this is like just a very slight bit of a curve, so it's very minor, and I really it's so much more productive for work and for having so much space to work with. It's great. You can have like multiple things going on at once and have space for it all instead of it all being packed on top of just one small monitor. So it's a big game changer for this type of stuff. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna just strip this stuff really quick. So, and these, these first ones weren't really keepers because they were slidings and stuff, so that's fine. And then I can, I'll edit these after the fact, of course. I just want to pull out a handful of samples to show you what we can do. I'm not going to do all these because it'd take all day. Yeah, I like these in here. So let's play with this stuff. So like right here. I might have that high pass filter a little too high. Okay, let's say somewhere about right here. Command T. X. That's fine. I'm just going to clean up like 20 of these samples. The final map will probably be a lot more than that because, you know, I think I'm going to go back and do some of these finger slides and stuff. And then, of course, I could use fingers too, right? So let's strip these out real quick. So let's keep those. I'm going to take this, move those far away. Let's play some of these really quick. Those are kind of cool. So let's play with those. And let's come down here to the finger ones that I did right here. And let's get these all grouped together. Here they are. So go like that. All right, so let's take all of these, get them over here to the beginning. Let's go to our renaming tool. And I'm just going to do this really quickly. I would normally try to identify the different types of performances and stuff like that I did, but perc, tambourine, mesh, 1. So I'm just going to export these really quick because they sounded pretty close. I want to do this. I do need to go to the regions. If you open up more, they have a fade in, and a fade in of 2 will get rid of most clicks, and a fade out of 4. And then I can just go right click. Let me see, what's the levels? Let's put a God particle on it just to give it a little bit more gas. Okay, we don't need that. Yeah, I want the high pass filter just a little bit higher. You can hear it, right? Here's without it. Hear all that high, low, that low energy. About 255 hertz, it's gone. So let's right click and say 41 regions as audio files. Let's go to the folder in Unify, libraries. Hello. Luna Rhythmica, samples into here, down to the samples folder and new folder, tambourine mesh. Hey, dude.
Hello, hello.
I'm doing a live stream right now.
Oh, you are? Sorry.
I'll call you back.
Okay, yeah.
Bye. It's my kid. I am so blessed to have a lovely daughter that likes to call me and talk to me and say hi. Okay, so let's save this, and we can actually, well, we can't quit Logic because it's my microphone. But now we can go over to the folder. So let's go over here, save Reveal in Finder. Go to the folder. Let's look at these really quick. You have to sample edit. Usually I sample edit inside of Logic, but I didn't this time. So I open these up, open up 41 files. Let's take a look real quick. See how usable they are to start with before I map them. Cool. I had something at the end. We'll get rid of that. And we're a little late there, and we've got something here. And we'll fade that out. So these are finger scrapes. And I'm doing these super fast. I'm just want to be in the right ballpark. Get rid of the end of the samples. Interesting. Okay, let's put there. Now they're a little soft. Now, in cases like this, like I'll keep that double hit because that's kind of cool. Because I did some double hits on purpose. If you remember, I was doing like some and stops and stuff like that. Fade out. Cool. Fade out. There we go. Yeah, it picked up a little something at the beginning of the motion for the hits. So in this case, I'm going to put my zoom file, which zooms in all the files at once so I can see a little bit tighter. Yeah. Again, I'm doing this really fast because there's a bunch of you watching and I don't want to be like, let me zoom in. You know, I'm not getting that carried away with it. But just so you can see how fun it is and how to do this. So now, since these are soft, I'm probably going to do something with a batch process just to get the, basically it's kind of like software compression to get the levels to be a little bit more averaged up so that I don't have to, there's ways inside of Unify, of course, to crank things really loud. And there are some hits here that I hit that are pretty hard. So I'm waiting to see what those levels look like. Like that should be in just a little bit more, but I will not be losing sleep over it at this point, right? Here's yeah. Here's some of the longer, louder ones. Now in cases like this, see how it's a little bit different in volume? I really like, this program has a normalizing where it can treat each channel independently on purpose. So I can say I wanted to have like a -3 for the top, and it will bring up the 2 to balance it in stereo. Again, I'm not a stereo purist. A lot of people, they do their sampling to incredible levels of perfection in the sampling and the recording, and I don't give a crap. I can fix it and modify stuff at the end that I hear it's not quite right in balance, so boom, there, it's better. So I'll probably normalize it to -3 dB for everything, so it brings everything up to a -3.0. There's no noise in these recordings. It's so quiet, so it's not like there's a big noise farm bringing up that you're going to notice. So after I get these starts, I just want to make sure I get the starts close enough that I can play it and maybe sequence or have it played by the ARP and stuff and not have it be really lazy. Because if you have ambience, if you have space at the beginning of the samples, what happens is it changes the timing when you have it played by a sequencer or whatever's doing your rhythm. If you have space, you're putting automatic swing into because that delay is delaying the note from playing when it's supposed to play. So you want to make it so that it's not got that blank space at the beginning for as much of it as you can. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to the batch, open batch processing right here. And I do all sorts of crazy things with this, but I'm going to say, here's the files to batch. Just look at all of them. And I want it to normalize. And then there's editing tools. So I can set it -3 dB. And I could say the maximum amount of gain is like, let's say 10, which shouldn't be a problem. And then I'm going to have it save. And I have it set to save. And destination is the original location. So it will overwrite them. Start processing. Okay. Done. So now those samples are normalized to -3 dB. So they will be consistent. I want them to be consistent. So when it's played by the ARPs and stuff, you don't have things that are there or not. And then I'm just going to drag these over here without even like worrying about it and saying start at 36, 1 semitone, and there's all the samples, just like that. So we say key range low. I don't like to give it extra samples outside of the original samples in the rhythm cases. That way you don't accidentally play the same note over and over again thinking you're playing different samples. And we go save as, and we can go down here to percussion, tambourine, and I can say just tambourine mesh. There. So quit, close, close. Let's say, let's go over here to one of the tambourines. And now when I go into this list, mesh hits. Again, I'm not being super, let's bring down the high end because these are bright to start with, so it doesn't need additional. Cool. So if I have this played with the arpeggiator, let's say ARP, step sequencer, 16th notes, so it's playing everything. And then we go over here to creative trigger box. And then what I might try is like turn off MIDI. No, not, let's see. Oh, I've got this percentage thing going on, right? So it's not playing it, so I can tell for sure. So let's go over here to trigger box and turn it off for a second. So you can make patterns with this stuff. And then I don't know if this will work. I mean, there's some tones and stuff in it, so I'll have to play around to see if when I'm combining that with different things and that works. Here's without it. Yeah, so it'll be an experiment. I think the little pitter patters and stuff like that, and That's cool, actually. Because it's all about, to me, it's all about finding sounds we haven't heard before. Everything's been sampled as far as like the instruments by themselves, and you know, it's more about finding the new found sounds. I haven't heard this before, so. How do you make kick patterns with the ARP? Well, there's a couple ways to do that. Say I want to do a kick with this, so let's say a new empty layer, and let's say Guru Sampler 2. And let's go to, there's some really cool kits inside of the standard Mega Sampler. Yeah, Mega Sampler. Why isn't it showing me the, okay. Why isn't it showing me sounds? That's interesting. What am I doing wrong? Say refresh the database. There we go. Huh, I have to see what's up with my folder there. But let's say, let's go to bonus here where the kicks are. These are the drum kits, right? So we call up a drum kit like Airwave. So I want to have a kick pattern with this. So there's a couple ways. If I wanted to use MIDI box, it'd be one thing. I'll use a step sequencer first. So you use step sequencer, turn off MIDI in, because you're going to want it to be a repetitive pattern that doesn't play when you get different MIDI in values. So now every note is now based on what this is triggering. So if that's all I wanted, all I have to do is transpose the note to. Where's the kick I want? Now, if I want a different pattern than this, maybe I'd go to like 16th notes and then turn off every 3 to start with, so that 1, 2, 1. And if I want to do it. Maybe I want my kick pattern to be more like that. If I need more steps, then I would just go over here and double it to be longer. Right? So there's a good pattern. So there's this way to do it. There's another way to do it too. This is if you want to make your own pattern. The other way to do it, let's turn off step sequencer and add MIDI box. So we go MIDI box, and we can go to any of the libraries that have percussion and stuff like that. Let's do the standard library since that's what you guys all have. And then click to load. Now you could use one of the drum kits and go there, or there's also this folder. Where is it? It always takes me a minute to find it. Drums single hit part. And inside of here are different kick patterns. So if you say kick 4 on the floor, this is going to be so solo. And then you need to transpose. Let's see, set it to just play. And now it's playing, and you can offset it. To whichever kick you want. But now you're playing a MIDI file and it's predetermined. And so you can't change it. There's other patterns. Right, this is accents. There's a snare. There's some other kick patterns here. The other thing you can do that gets a little bit more tricky is you can go to these folders with all the patterns. Let's go to like one of the drum kits, like Never Surrender. There's all these different drum patterns, right? So if I just have this play, okay, now it's playing the whole pattern, kick, snare, and everything. And then you can use these right here for including notes and bring this down to where it's just windowed in only the kick pattern, or if you go above that, just a snare pattern, or else some of these other ones will have hi-hats and all sorts of stuff, right? So with this, you can actually pick out just one note so it gets a little bit trickier because now you need to listen and go like, well, I'm trying to pull out the kick drum. I like that pattern. So then just window out. Everything but the kicks that you want. So there's lots of different ways to just get a kick pattern. The MIDI box will let you use all the MIDI files, and you can mold and like focus in on what you want, but it's still a MIDI file that you can't change. Step sequencer is different in that I have this on, and it's. And if I want to be a 4 on the floor, then I just have to turn on the 4 on the floor notes. Right? So you can change it around, you can change the velocity. I can even have this like up note be a different transposed note in the range to play different sounds. So it just depends on what you want to do. Lots of flexibility. All right, well, let's stop there. But we made pretty good progress today, I think. So we got Gator, Crater.
Radiation levels are within limits. We're safe for now.
And we made the shaker. We made the MIDI files. So hopefully this helps you get an idea how you do grooves. Well, that's the good question. That's the question is, would it make more sense to build those into the metronome? And there's a couple things that you got to be aware of. So the metronome is a separate Unify on its own. It's like a satellite double version of Unify, right? Unfortunately, we haven't got the connections to the macro knobs to talk to that secondary Unify. It's literally disconnected. It listens by sync. It stays in time, and it's playing rhythmic elements or whatever you want it to do. And it will transpose on the keyboard if you had something in it that was a transposable sound and stuff like that. But it's not connected other than the mod wheel that will listen. Mod wheel data is going to be able to be sent over here to this. But otherwise, I can't go here, and say plus, and here's the metronome, and then I have all the settings of the metronome. Paul hasn't done the deep dive into connecting all of that plumbing. And so that would probably be something we do for Unify 3, I would think, because it's a huge amount of work to get this whole separate Unify available as a controller to work with. So yes, you can do the rhythmic things here, and then it's something you can turn on and off and keep it organized. But in this library, I'm going to be wanting things that I change and interact with that make things go away and come back in cool ways. I might want this, and then I might want other variations where it's just this. And I can't get to changing that stuff if all the drums are inside the metronome. So the metronome is really there as a timekeeper, and to be a fancy timekeeper that can play rhythm now, but it's not, with all the power we have inside of Unify with the macro knobs and stuff, you don't have access to that power from Unify's main interface. So it kind of just depends on how you're going to use it. For this library, I'm going to do more stuff where it's maybe I'll have a little something added when you turn on the metronome, but a lot of the stuff that's going to be going on is going to be here because I'm going to want to control filters and have real time. I'm picturing all sorts of stuff I want to do that I won't be able to do. You'll have more power and more control over the elements to shape it the way you want it to be shaped. And since this is a library where I want to be interacting and have different variations and stuff within one sound, I think I'll do a lot of the idea originally, it's getting a little more carried away than that, but the idea is to have like one layer of synth and one layer of rhythm. You know, it's getting a little bit bigger than that now for talking and effects and all these different tracks. But we'll break it down a little bit. There'll be some that will definitely be that more just a rhythm element, because we have all these cool rhythm elements, and the step sequencer talking to different rhythm elements and to talking to different synth layers is kind of like the modus operandi for the library or something like that. So, but anyway, we're having fun, and it's just it's a chance to make something cool that you haven't heard the sounds of before, and I want to just bring you guys along to learn about how I build these, so that you know, yeah, it's always, you know, if in the end you play it and go, oh, I haven't heard that and I think I can use it, then I've done a good job. So, and that's the hard part. The hard part's making it so that you can call it up and play it, and it's something you can use, because so many programmers are really great at making patches for themselves. And it takes a whole different mindset and a discipline to make patches that are set up for other people to play and make the sound the way they want it to sound, stuff like that. So, oh, good. I'm glad you like the midstream. Yeah, we'll do it for this library. I don't know. We might do it. It's not that hard for me to sit down and turn on my camera and hit record. So happy to help. Happy to help. It's all about I want whatever I know to be available to all of you, because if it's just inside of me and it doesn't go anywhere else, then that's just a loss. So hopefully this helps you guys, and then you can pass it on, you know, play it forward, right? All that kind of stuff. So anyway, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being, yeah. Good to see you all. I'll see you. We'll do this again, maybe next week. I'll see. But it's been fun. It's been fun to share the process with you guys. So I'll see you guys later. All right. Shout outs to everybody. Shout out. See ya. Bye.